Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Boy, the chill is starting to come, so hence the jacket and a warm cup of coffee to keep not only me warm but my throat clear while we talk for a second. It's going to be a beautiful day. We just started our light season a couple of days ago. We're putting Christmas lights up everywhere, and the old man's getting back in shape. Actually, not half bad. I scurried up and slung those ladders pretty well for being off for almost a year, so it's going to be a great year. I want to talk today about law enforcement. Are the police going to be with you or against you? Um, because, we have a lot of things coming. We have a lot of situations that we know will be developing. We've seen this in Australia and around the world, France, England, blah, blah, blah. Everybody, is seeing some pushback, and they're starting to get a little bit more energetic. I'm happy to see that. That's good, because the quest for freedom is, in my opinion, always a positive. It's for those who don't like freedom, they don't understand that, but that kind of selects the teams, doesn't it? We we had a little bit of a dust up over on Patreon, and I should welcome all of the new people. I don't often check, the figures on subscriptions and things like that, but I've noticed lately that it seems to be climbing quite a bit. So I have found myself just going, well, look at that, look at that, look at that. So it's great to have you all here. Whether you're on YouTube or whether you're also over on Patreon, love to have you. And I always make the observation, the claim, that I have the smartest, most intelligent, well-spoken, and well-expressed commenters in YouTube land. And if you need any proof of that, I suggest I would refer you back to the last video, which I entitled, what did I entitle it? I have no idea. Anyway, it was the last one. And I almost called this video Amazing Comments, because I was just amazed at the quality and the depth of those comments over there. Oh yeah, I think it was called When Peaceful Means Fail, or When All Peaceful Means Have Been Tried, What Then? And as I always do, I say, now be careful with what you say. We want to be able to continue to express ourselves on this platform and not get jerked, because that doesn't help anyone, right? What helps is being able to communicate, and intelligent people can communicate very well without, simplistic language, and I just couldn't believe, as impressed as I've already been with the quality of our comments. This last one just surpassed it. So for any of you new people who want an idea of what this channel is about, and it's not about, it's about serious response. Let me put it that way: serious responses to serious threats. But we do it in an intelligent way that is going to not not bring incoming fire before we decide that it's time. Right? Is that a good way to say that? I think that it is. But anyway, so as I always said, watch, don't go over the line. And man, I couldn't believe the quality of those comments, both here on YouTube and over on Patreon. If you're new, or if you're not on Patreon, I'd love to have you over there. I add stuff over there that I don't put on YouTube. I think you'll enjoy and get something out of it. If not, you're a valued person here on YouTube, but I'd love to have you over on Patreon as well, because it's just kind of a different community from YouTube. That being said, we had a little bit of a dust up over on Patreon on the last one, and I actually had to pull down some comments. I hardly ever have to do that, but I did on this, and it got into because, and I'm not going to get into details on this. But it was a bit of an argument over law enforcement and the role of law enforcement, and kind of what those law enforcement people were. And I read the comments very closely. When I saw that there was a developing disagreement there, I'm like the host, right? I'm the host of the party. I want everybody to come here, have a good time, enjoy, learn, whatever, mingle, discuss, trade opinions, discuss intelligently. But if I have a guest who I feel is starting trouble with others, well, I'm gonna let that guest know, or I'm going to invite him out, or I'm just whatever. Now here, I don't get involved in the comments much, but I will pull comments that I feel are inappropriate. And inappropriate means a number of things. It could mean bad language. It could mean referring to violence. It could mean any number of things. But one of the things that it does mean is attacking another commenter. Whether it's direct or oblique, we can all see that. Well, I saw what was going on, and then a person started posting a bunch of links, and I don't have a rule against links here. Don't worry, I'm going to get to law enforcement in a minute. Police, are they for you, against you? But this kind of goes into it, because it's what made me bounce into that subject. I don't have a rule against putting links in there. Now, I know a lot of you all put them over in the what is that called? The creator page. To be honest, I don't understand this all that much, and that's great if you want to put them over on the creative page. But I don't have a rule against putting them in the regular comment section either, if they are suitable. But posting things that is just trying to attack another person or another person's stance, that's a no-go, guys. It's a no-go. And when I read these comments very closely, I realized that one commenter was kind of being attacked for something that he had never said, and that there was an assumption on the part of another. And I pulled down all of those comments by that commenter that contained a link or that were inappropriate. So if you want to know if it was you, just go over and see whether your comments are still up there. And I left some comments up by that commenter, but I took down the ones that went over the line. So that's the best way to do it. If you say, "Well, was that me?" Well, probably not. But if you want to see if it was me, go back, see if your comments are up, and if they are, then it wasn't you, and you're fine. I don't have anything against good disagreements. I do have something against attacking people, and so that one is on my radar. And if we have a repeat of that, like I've said before, trust me, I don't need your dollar. Okay. Now, that's going to take us to the next thing, and that is police, law enforcement. Okay, I could get into military, National Guard, and all this. I'm not going to, because really what we're seeing is the abuse of police powers lately. I was a police officer. I was a deputy sheriff. I was also in federal law enforcement. I ran the gamut. I ran the gamut from a small town marshal to a big city cop to a major sheriff department deputy to undercover narcotics to undercover organized crime to there wasn't anything that I wanted to do that I didn't do. Warrants and fugitives. Okay, I did a bunch. Okay, so I know of what I speak. And there are a lot of commenters out there that don't. Now, we do have a lot in here for these people, for the newer people. We have a lot of law enforcement in here. And they are good. They know what they're talking about. And often, when I can tell when somebody knows what they're talking about when they say, "Yeah, you were exactly right," because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about, and I just repeated myself. And when somebody says, "Well, I don't see it that way," which nobody has, I'll say, "Well, if you don't see it that way, then you're in a different universe." Yeah, but I'm going to leave that aside. We have a lot of law enforcement here that I can tell have the experience, and they have very good comments. Okay, are the police going to be on your side? Are they going to be against you? The simple answer is both. Okay. Now, to hold all law enforcement up as if they're a bunch of heroes uh, fighting evil and standing against evil and trying to uphold what's right and all that. Well, that's not true. They're not all like that. Okay. Uh, to try to demonize all of them as a bunch of little Nazi automatons. That's also not right. And taking either of those extreme positions shows a person of undiscriminating judgment. Let me put it that way. Cops are people. I know that comes as a surprise to a lot of people who aren't or weren't cops, but cops are like military and like doctors and like nurses and like teachers and like preachers and like whatever. They are people, and they come into their different professions for any number of reasons. Okay, some come into it for the right reason, which in my opinion is because they want to help people. Now, there's plenty that go into it and they want to help people and they become jaded, and then they, their mission kind of evolves. But they come into it because they want to help people. There are others who come into it because they want the authority, they want the power, they want to be important. Maybe they've never been important before, and this is a way for them to become important. Some of them come into it because their dad was a cop. It's the family business. Some of them come into there is no end of reasons that people go into law enforcement. The point is that when you have people who are all different coming into law enforcement, which affects people differently, you're going to have a wide range of reactions to any given stimulus. Okay? Back in my day, I knew some great cops. And now, I knew some guys that were great cops on the street and were horrible in their home life. Okay? I knew cops who were great in their home life and were horrible cops on the street. I knew cops who were always, pretty even-keeled and on the beam and wanted to help people. And I knew cops who were authoritarian little assholes. And I knew that the kind that came into the station and said, all right, let's go ruin somebody's day. That is disgusting to me. And I think there's no reason to think that that's changed at all. It's all over the place. Today, I don't stay in touch with, police like I used to, so I don't have the same inside sight, But I stay in touch with, or I come across. Let me say in that way. I contact a number of large suburban police officers, and occasionally the smaller county sheriff's deputies. There's a difference between the two. The smaller county deputies tend to be more pro personal freedom. That's my dog barking at the kids across the street playing, yelling hello at me. See, I kind of like that. People say, why do you live in the suburbs? Because I like suburban life. I'm glad that other people like their life. I also like other kinds of life. But you know what? I also like all kinds of music. Anyway, that's a short answer to people say, you got to get out of the city. I'm not in the city, and I'm in the suburbs, and it's great. Okay, so back to this. The police in the suburbs, and I'm going to get back to that. In the suburbs are more rural followers. They are not a part of the community as much as are those deputies who come from smaller counties. The deputies in smaller counties often grew up there. They're dealing with people that they went to school with, go to church with. They really are a part of the community, and that's how law enforcement should be. In the suburbs, most of the cops did not grow up, did not go to school in the same areas that they patrol, and so there is a disconnect. They don't feel the same feeling of community that the smaller county deputies do, or even the smaller county police officers. Down in the city, it's entirely different than that. None of them live in the city. Who would want to live in the city? And so they live outside, and they come into the city and they deal with trash all day long, and that affects the way they feel about people. Okay, it becomes an us or them mentality, and the us is the police, and the them is all the rest of us. And being in that system, I tell you, it's easy to come to that conclusion. So, are they going to be against you, or are they going to be for you? I would say that in the major metropolitan areas, the police are going to be against you up to a point. They will be against you while they are following orders that are given them. Hey, kiddo! And while they're following orders that they can justify in their minds, and because they have this us or them mentality, they're going to be able to justify that for quite a while. And so if orders come out, I'm making a video, come on up here. So when orders come out telling them to do things that they can justify in their minds, they're going to do it, whether that's stay in your house or, what we see the Australian alley back there. Have a sit. Oh, she brought donuts. All right. Here, you can listen in on this.
Okay.
Chime in if you want. Wearing your freedom hat? Yeah, freedom. I was just talking about what are the cops going to do when they tell them to shut everybody down. So they'll go along with the orders as long as they can justify them, and because of their us versus them mentality, they're going to be able to justify those orders for quite a while, and we might see here what they're seeing in Australia. In that case, we have to be ready to resist that. Okay. Now, I want to say a word about resistance. The law in most states, and it certainly was when I was on, it could have changed, I don't know. The law in most states allows a citizen to resist an illegal arrest that is being performed on them with excessive force. Okay. In other words, you don't have to allow someone to beat your ass. Okay. Now, you can resist, and you're probably going to come out on the wrong side, depending on how much help they've got. Okay. But the idea that there is a law that requires you to take a butt whipping is totally, against everything that freedom stands for and our country was based on. You don't have to allow a cop to kill you. Okay? Surprising. So those people that say you'd better never, resist the police, well, I'd say that it's a dumb idea. I said that usually you're going to come out on the short end. And so, strategically, you got to do your best, be polite, follow orders, do what's told, and fight it out in court, and then sue their ass. Okay? We had a case here in Johnson County, Kansas, some years ago, to where early in the morning, the sheriff's department kicked in this couple's door, a couple and their family and their kids. They kicked in their door on a drug raid, and they made the parents lie on the floor in their underwear, I think, for a couple of hours while their kids sat on the couch watching their parents being humiliated while this drug task force, tore the house apart looking for drugs. It started off because somebody had told law enforcement these people were growing weed in their basement. So the big task force, and I think it was Kansas Highway Patrolman, followed them. They staked out the place where they got their inside grow equipment, which was in another state, and they followed them and they made a case on them. And on the idiotic, skin of your teeth, non-evidence, they had to lie to a judge to get a search warrant on this. They went in and they tore that house apart. Funny thing was, these people were growing tomatoes in their basement. And they were former CIA. That's right. Both of them retired CIA. And yet this law enforcement, who I think every one of them should have been fired because of the way they acted. And they were very authoritative, very, you want to see what somebody is really made of? Give them power over other people. You're going to find out. And so these people sued that department, and they're never going to have to work again, and neither will our kids. That's the best way to fight it. You can't fight a SWAT team coming into your house, So, be smart. But what I'm saying is, no, police do abuse authority. They do, and the smaller the mind, the bigger abuse. Okay, and there are a lot of small minds in law enforcement. Now that is not, right? Yeah. Okay. And that's just the way it is. And I'm sure that I'm not offending anyone here who is law enforcement, because I've read your comments and you're not small minds. You understand. But I'm probably offending a lot of people out there that everything they have is blue and everything they have is a badge, because having no personality of their own, they join something to take a personality. Are you thinking about anybody in particular?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. And so they try to adapt a personality from this, and since they can't be an individual, they have to be a part of a group or a gang or something like that, and they've chosen the police to be the gang. Okay, but there are plenty of those, and you're going to have to deal with those, and those people are going to oppress other people when they're told to. Okay, now there's the other. And they're the ones who went in for the right reasons, and there are people with fully developed personalities of their own. They don't need to take a personality or authoritarian slice from their department or their profession in order to feel good about themselves. And you're seeing these people quitting all over the place, and that's a problem. They're quitting right and left. The good ones always leave when problems come up. Hey, buddy, how you doing? And they leave. Well, that leaves more of the departments full of these other boneheads. But the good ones will not be oppressing people. Okay, and how that shakes out, what percentages, I have no idea. But there's going to be both, and there are going to be plenty of the authoritarian buttheads that you're going to have to be careful of. So anyway, how to deal with that? Probably I need to make another one on that. This has already gone pretty long. But my point is this, is that anybody who thinks that police are going to come down one way or another doesn't understand the dynamics. Okay, and it's like saying that all teachers are great. No, they're not. Or all... I had a comment on some time back about nurses, and I was talking about super nurses, and somebody came on and said they were a nurse, and she said, we're all super nurses. No, you're not. No, you're not. I know a lot of nurses who are really not super nurses, right? I know ministers who aren't super ministers. I know, isn't that the truth? I mean, my God, anymore, everybody's got to be a hero.
God made the strongest people and made nurses.
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, I do hard things, Good Lord.
Essential workers.
Makes you want to puke. I know. Well, I guess that when this all started, and every day you drove into work and there were signs stuck all over the place. Heroes work here. Thank you for your service, Mm-hmm. Hey, we get paid, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. We get paid to do a job we decided to do. We're not heroes. We're doing jobs. And, of course, we're getting fired for doing our jobs. But, that just shows you what they're about, not what we're about. Mm-hmm. I guess it shows you what we're about, and we're not going to take it. Anyway, that's the deal here. You will have people, you will have police, you will have law enforcement who will be oppressive. How many? Well, one is too many, but you're probably going to have a number of them, and you're going to have to deal with them. We'll talk about dealing with that later on, maybe. And you're going to have others who aren't. And there have been times that I've been at places to where those who are not oppressors have stood up against those who are and said, stop it. Okay. And that's what we need. Okay. Okay, I think that I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to there. Hey, you want to add anything since you showed up with donuts? You know, donuts buy you the right to say something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like I missed half. I did miss like half of it. So.
The whole thing was: are the police going to oppress us, or are they not going to oppress us if they put down these mandates and tell us all to stay home or whatever?
Yeah, you've covered it pretty much. A lot of the police that I work alongside with, they don't want the mandates at all, and they don't have to have them. So far, they don't want them. There are a lot of them are fighting against them. Others, of course, aren't. But that's
Yeah.
like you said, it's a dynamic of
The
everything.
personality of police officers is different, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because they're people, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. You've covered it.
Okay. I guess I'll sign off because she and I have a lot of work to do. We're going out making people happy by putting Christmas lights on their house. You all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Remember, we love to have your comments. Put your comments down here. I love reading them. Be nice to people. Don't attack anybody. Share your opinion thoughtfully, and you're not going to win anybody. Oh, if you want to put up your comment, at least take the time to put it in such a way that other people, smart people, intelligent people, reasonable people will consider it. Not to get their back up and feel they've been attacked, and then counterpunch you.
Mm.
But most everybody is like that. 99.9999999. Almost up there with the survival rate of the what. Our good folks. Okay.
Good one.
You all have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.